Hello, it's the 31st of October 2025 today, and possibly the last garden tour with me as Cotswold Country Flowers, the cut flower grower. Possibly not the end of all my YouTube videos, but watch this space. So I've been doing this for 9 seasons now. This is the end of my 9th season, and yeah, today I'm officially stopping. So no more flowers, no more workshops, no more garden tours, and on to sort of pastures new really. I'm really looking forward to having more time to enjoy some retirement. But in the meantime, we're not going to finish there. We're going to round up with how the garden's looking at the end of the season. Pretty typical autumnal day today. Blustery, showers, bits of sunshine, and that's been how it's been the last few weeks. Okay, let's go. So one of the things I am planning to do pretty swiftly, because it's the end of October, I need to get a wiggle on, is to plant my bulbs. So I've got a selection here. I have got some minnow, which are little kind of quite short ones, which I'd like to put under the apple tree. I've got thalia, which I rather love, which are quite just a nice white colour, white creamy colour. So I really love those. And I've got some alliums, sphaerocophilum, which I'm going to put in pots until I decide exactly where I want to put them, but they need to be planted. And I've got tulips as well. It's a little bit early for tulips, but I might plant up a bulb lasagna with narcissi and tulips and muscari on the top. I'll dig up some muscari just to make the top look a little bit prettier. So yeah, perfect time of year for bulb planting. Leave the tulips a little bit later if you can, certainly if you're planting them outside. As you can see, we've already made a start clearing some of these annual beds. The helichrysum are actually still going strong. After this video, I'm going to be cutting down all these helichrysum, conditioning them, and then drying them in my nice airy kitchen. And then when they're dried, I'm going to use them myself to make a nice dried flower swag. No more selling dried flowers. As I said, I'm just drawing a line under anything, everything. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing straight after this. And so are the statists, believe it or not. And likewise, I'll be doing the same with the best of the statists, and I've got a lovely bed of light blue which I'll be cutting back as well, conditioning them, and then they'll be hanging up in my kitchen. They do not like the rain, so some of these have really even got a lot of new growth because it's quite mild. They end up spoiling really quite quickly. The cosmos, from a distance, look pretty good, but on closer inspection, the poor petals are getting battered and bruised. And I can't really sell these at the moment, nor would I want to use them in bouquets or anything like that. So this is one of the reasons I'm just calling it quits, finishing the season. All this is going to come down and it's going to get mulched. Meanwhile, the nasturtium arch is still looking really good actually, but again, I'm going to have to sacrifice that. Otherwise, I'm just going to get further and further behind, and I'm really keen to get this cleared ready for my next project, which I'll tell you a little bit more about later. The climbing nasturtium is still really healthy. I'm going to burrow down and see if I can find some seeds that I'll be able to use next year somewhere. I really loved it. I love the mix of orange and yellow. The bumblebees are still fluttering around trying to collect some pollen, and I can see a honeybee in there as well. So a couple of beds just were cleared in this week. I'm just using it at the minute as it's got such fabulous soil. I'm actually almost treating this like peat, and I'm using it to fill pots where I'm saving, potting up some of the perennials I'd really like to save before the garden redesign. And again, the lovely heat-loving zinnias, they've just had enough now. Everything is ridiculously weedy. I've got so much to do, as well as clearing, weeding, covering, and then all this is going to get changed about. But at the moment, again, the cosmos look fine from a distance, but close up, they're really not great. Quite a lot of things have gone over. The light blue statice is nice. I'll try and cut some of that to dry. Really not a lot else. Oh, I'm going to show you my Lavatera right here. Oh my word, this is crazy. These must be, I know it's on a raised bed, but if I stand up on my raised bed, these are up to my hip. All self-sown, sown or planted quite late in the summer. Unfortunately, as soon as we get a frost, they're going to completely go, and they haven't, there's one or two flowers just appearing. But yeah, they're not going to do anything now. If there were some little smaller seedlings, and you may well spot those in your garden, it is worth potting those up. I do tend to keep Lavatera in the greenhouse over the winter, just because I really don't think, even though they're a hardy annual, they've just got a bit too much of a kind of a water-filled leaf, and I just feel it's just going to get zapped with the frost really quickly. The other thing that I've got self-sowing, there's various things, but lovely to have a bit more Phacelia, looking nice and fresh and just giving an extra boost for the pollinators, the bumblebees and the honeybees, and anything else that needs flowers to pollinate. So apart from that, the perennials are looking pretty tired. Everything's looking quite scruffy. The bidens is still doing amazingly well. It's a bit of a thug, so you've got to be careful with this one. Let's have a quick peek in the greenhouse. It's just starting to rain, so why don't we use that as an opportunity to check out what's in the little greenhouse and in the big greenhouse. Gosh, that's better. The pelargonium, scented pelargonium, still smells amazing. And then I've just been using the greenhouse just to kind of keep an eye on some of these hardy annuals which had self-sown. So I talked about, if something's self-sown, why not just dig it up and pot it on. So I didn't actually germinate these from bought seed. These had just done their own thing in the garden. It was a fantastic year for that. These are corn cockle. Finally, a bit late getting going, but I've got some honesty. I've got lots actually that have germinated, that have self-sown in the garden. So these might go down to the community project in our local village. So I think honesty, just a lovely flower and seed head to have. And then I talked about Lavatera. These have got a bit leggy actually, but again, these were just ones that had self-sown Lavatera. So these were potted up on the 20th of September as tiny weeny plants. They'd self-sown outside, and I'm just gonna probably overwinter these in the greenhouse, and then I've got them for early part of next year to put in my garden. So yeah, not for selling, but just for me. And finally, the other thing I did, I think these need a bit of water, but yeah, I took cuttings of the pelargonium, dead easy to take cuttings of, and then just potted them up, and then you've got something to give away to people, or don't think I need any more, or you've got them in reserve if these ones here do decide to give up the ghost. I've got some spares here, so always worth giving it a go. If it doesn't work, doesn't matter. Right, got a few things languishing outside. My biennials still haven't got an awful lot further, so I really need to get a wiggle on with some of those. Let's go and take a look. I've a funny feeling these are exactly the same as I showed you last month. So mainly Sweet William. They didn't take the first sowing, so I had to do a later sowing, but and again, these are going to hopefully go down in the community garden in our local village. I really want to hang on to these echinops, but I don't want them here because obviously this was planted for cutting, all in a grid, and I want them to be going in my new borders. So I've just weeded it, cut down the seed heads. Normally I'd have left those all winter, but at least I can see what I've got now. And I've got some nice big healthy plants which I can just literally dig up at this time of year and move to where I want them to go. Ooh, yuck. Take cover in the greenhouse, my pride and joy. So, still a jungle. It's been a jungle all summer. The zinnias are still sort of going, they're a little bit blemished. It's funny how the colours of things change in the autumn. As the light levels are less, the colours of things seem to change. So I've noticed it particularly in the dahlias. Something that was a lovely dark red colour is purple now. Anyway, zinnias are still, one or two of them are still flowering, but all this is going to go. All the self-sown amaranthus, so much panic and frosted explosion, and had some celosia down here. This has got mildew now. The celosia flamingo feathers and celosia selway salmon, it's all got mildew now, so again, just need to clear it. So waiting for a terrible rainy day like today, then I can deal with it. Finally, just time to go and have a look at the dahlias. I think I'm going to wait until the rain stops. Just as I was going out of the greenhouse, I noticed, to my surprise, that this Canterbury bells, I saved the seed from just one little pod of a Canterbury bell plant that I had. And when did I sow it? 7th of October, so 3 weeks ago, and I just left them in the greenhouse. To be honest, I've forgotten about them. Okay, that's a bit better. The sun's starting to come out. I'll have a quick look at the biennials, which I've got to plant this weekend, surely. As you can see, I've got a gazillion foxglove, which I love, and I'm going to plant them all around the sort of bottom of the hedges around my garden. And I've also got a lot of wallflower. Again, this was sown sort of mid-June time. These are going to go down to the community project. And I also potted up a few hardy annuals, potted up a bit of clary sage, rather fond of that. So this is all waiting here. Anything that I kind of spot in the garden that has rooted, so here's a bit of Physocarpus. I thought I might as well pop that in a pot, it's going to be a shrub one day. It seems to work quite well here in the autumn time, get a bit of shelter from the sheds, dahlia time. So I do need to remind myself sometimes that it is the 31st of October, and these dahlias were quite late in getting going because it was so dry. And some of the newer ones never really got that big this year, but they should be better next year. I am going to be selling off most of these, just keeping one or two. that I particularly like and that are going to go with the colour scheme that I've got in mind for my new perennial borders. But yeah, let's just take a little closer look before they're all going to be gone. So again, from a distance, they look lovely and colourful, but actually when you get up close, you've got this browning on the back, very weak stems, heads nodding over, and it's just time to call it quits. You might get the odd one that you think, oh, that looks lovely, and then you look on the back and yeah, it's got spoiled. This is one of my favourites. I've marked it as Nicholas, but I'm not sure that it is Nicholas. I need to look it up, but it's lovely sort of peachy colours. Sweet Natalie, lovely kind of blush colour. Yeah, quite big. I don't like them any bigger than this myself, but everybody's different. This is the Rocco. I think I mentioned this earlier on, or the changing colour. So this starts off a lovely dark red at the beginning of the season, but as the light levels drop, it seems to go purple. Well, I'd call that purple. Cerise purple, and this one here did exactly the same. It was a really dark red, now it's a cerise purple. Quite a nice selection. Still looking good from a distance, but once you get them up close, they're really not that great anymore and very soggy. This good old Labyrinth, one just opening out. Beautiful colour. Seem to have lots of Evelyn. Evelyn is just amazing. I can rely on her every year, and the white aster as well. First to appear, and it's still going strong now. If you remember, these were 6 annual beds. Tim and I cleared them a couple of weeks ago, I think, and the whole area is going to be put back to grass. It belongs to my neighbours, and so that's what we're going to do. That's what they would like. But I didn't want it to all get weedy again, so it seems like a bit, you know, doing a second job. But for the time being, we've just covered it up temporarily, and then yeah, with any luck we'll get some grass seed on it pretty soon. If we don't manage it in the next couple of weeks, it's going to have to wait until the spring, but it needs a little bit levelling and flattening and so on. So that's basically what's happening at the minute: clearing, covering, until we're ready to actually either do some earth moving or some grass seeding. There we have it. The garden tour for the end of October 2025 is now done. Certainly showing you how Cotswold Country Flowers changes throughout the year. This year has been a little bit hit and miss. I started a little bit later. I'm finishing earlier with the videos, that is. But hopefully you've still got a good sense of the amount of work that goes into a cut flower garden, but how beautiful it is. I will be carrying on growing from seed, but just not with the same numbers that I've been doing up until now. So yeah, I think I'm going to be enjoying a bit of apple pie tonight. Thank you for watching.